welcome back to this week's Go Buff Sports live show. I'm Harrison Simeon.
And I'm Brittany Garcia, and we have a lot of sports to cover this week, so let's dive right in.
Colorado football is back. The Buffs Black and Gold Spring Game is slated for Saturday, April 11th at 1 p.m. Admission is free and includes Ralphie Seven's first run of 2026, weather permitting. It caps CU's spring practices, which start on March 2nd. For more later in the show, you'll hear from Oliver and Leo in this week's Buff Banner.
Colorado women's basketball cruised to a dominant 30-point win over BYU last weekend. And Anel Dutot scored a career high of 19 points and brought down 10 rebounds. Desiree Wooden recorded 16 points and 7 assists, while Jade Masagayo had 15 points. The Buffs out-rebounded the Cougars by their largest margin this season.
It's a world between known and unknown, a vacuum of space and time. Last Tuesday, Colorado women's basketball entered Tucson, Arizona. The Buffs were in a neck-and-neck battle with the lowly Wildcats. CU had 25 turnovers, a season high. But something odd occurred. The Buffaloes dominated the glass, allowing 8 fewer rebounds than they committed turnovers. It was the fewest boards CU had allowed in a game ever. And down 7 with 5 minutes left in front of a roaring McHale Center, more weirdness took root. The Buffaloes scored 18 of the game's final 21 points, snatching a 78-70 win. On the night, Anel Dutot had a career-high 20 points. That's how CU saved its March Madness chances and once again escaped Tucson, Arizona.
After taking a 34-point loss game prior, men's hoops took 22 BYU to overtime in Provo, led by freshman Isaiah Johnson's 27 points. The Buffs were neck and neck most of the game. Eventually, they took a 6-point lead in the early goings of the second half. Before guard Rob Wright exploded for the Cougars, Wright scored 23 second-half points, going on 100% from the field and finishing with 39 in overtime. The Buffaloes couldn't buy a bucket, going 2 for 10, allowing BYU to salt the game away.
Johnson's big night has us hankering for this week's trivia question. He scored 27 on Saturday, reaching 430 points this season. That's already top 5 in CU freshman history, but we're asking you, how many points away is Isaiah Johnson from Alec Burks' freshman scoring record? We'll answer that later in the show.
Next up, the men's team will host the Oklahoma State Cowboys on Saturday at 1:30. The Buffs are on a 2-game losing skid, falling to Texas Tech and BYU, both ranked teams. The Cowboys haven't won a game in over 2 weeks, but their last win was against a number 23 ranked BYU Cougars. Both teams are desperately looking for momentum heading into the Big 12 Championship Tournament. You could read about the game on our website shortly after the final whistle.
After Kansas State fired head coach Jerome Tang last week, the Buffs will host the Wildcats. Guard P.J. Haggerty leads K-State with nearly 24 points and 5 rebounds per game. Kansas State has a top 5 3-point shot in the conference, while Colorado gives up the most. The Buffs will need to bring their best perimeter defense and limit turnovers. Tip-off is set for 7 from the CU Event Center this Wednesday.
On the bubble for the NCAA tournament, women's hoops has a chance to boost their resume Saturday. They host number 20 ranked Texas Tech in hopes for an upset with 3 games remaining. However, the Lady Raiders are coming off a 31-point win in Lubbock against the 15-ranked Baylor. Texas Tech is a perimeter-heavy squad led by Bailey Maupin's 15 points per game. It will be a defensive challenge as the Lady Raiders allow the second least points per game in the Big 12. With the tournament chances on the line, Colorado is a must-win situation.
After hoping to earn the upset, they stay in Boulder to host the Utah Utes. Utah is also a bubble squad as the first team out of the tournament per ESPN. However, the Utes are riding a roller coaster, beating ranked teams but losing to some of the worst in the conference. If the Buffs can capture 2 home wins at home against Utah and Texas Tech, they will be firmly in the NCAA tournament conversation.
Colorado women's lacrosse secured a win at their first home game on Sunday against Cornell University, 8-5. CU was led by junior attacker Tegan Ryan and junior attacker Jamie Hill, who had 3 and 2 goals respectively. This was their first meeting between the two teams, and Colorado was able to walk away 1-0 against Cornell.
The Buffs will look to follow up that performance against 1-3 Towson tomorrow. The Tigers are led by Katie Roscoe and Hannah Lewis's 8 goals each. CU's defense, led by Big 12 Defender of the Week Jess Peluso, has found success winning ground balls and forcing turnovers so far this season. Big 12 Goalkeeper of the Week Elena O has had an easy time in net in the young season, only having to make 13 saves in their home opener against Cornell. First draw from Kitty Field is set for noon tomorrow.
After Saturday's game, the Buffs will hit the road and hit to Stony Brook, New York, to play the Stony Brook Seawolves. Colorado will look to stay undefeated on the road against 1-0 Stony Brook team that is just getting their season started. In the matchup last season, CU held on 1-goal lead at home against a fourth quarter comeback attempt by the Seawolves for a 7-6 win. The Buffs will try to win their first game at Luval Stadium in program history on Thursday, February 26 at 4 p.m. Mountain Time.
Guess what? It's time for the WWCHL playoffs. The Buffaloes have made the postseason and will host the tournament this weekend. CU plays the Grand Canyon Antelopes shortly after the show at 4:30, and the Utah Utes on Saturday at 4:30. The championship will be on Sunday at 11 a.m., where the winner will punch its ticket to Nationals in St. Louis. Paxton Haynes sat down with 2 Buffs at practice on Wednesday to hear their thoughts on the upcoming playoff run.
Colorado Buffaloes women's hockey team has returned to the playoffs in the Women's Western Collegiate Hockey League, and this playoff run means a little more for assistant captain Natalie Ewald and club president Brianna Ahrens.
This is my last year, and this is time for redemption. We've made it to playoffs 3 times now and have yet to win, so this is our chance, and I know we have 11 seniors this year, and we're all really pumped up, fired up, ready to go. This is our last chance to really leave knowing that you achieved something, and we've worked so hard for so long. It would be really rewarding to see a true payout for that and to win this weekend.
The Buffaloes are headlined offensively by Ewald and junior forward Mia Fischelli, nicknamed the Dynamic Duo. Along with Anna Masiello, the first line has combined for 46 goals and 88 total points this season.
We've been playing together for a while now, especially me and Mia. This is our 3rd year playing together. So I feel like we kind of just read, I know exactly how she plays. She knows how I play. So it's really easy for us to bounce off of each other. And Masiello came onto our line this year, and I just think, our line has really good vibes. We're never in arguments. We're always just happy to be there. And I think we play the best when we're all having fun.
This season, the Buffs have something that separates them from past teams: chemistry.
This year especially, our chemistry that we have going on is really good. I think this is the best that I've seen it in my 4 years here, and I think that's something you can't really fix. If it's not there, it's not there, and it shows on the ice. When we're down a goal and we need to get up, and we're supporting each other and not getting down on ourselves, because that you have your teammates behind your back, uplifting you and stuff. It's really important.
Colorado will play Utah and Grand Canyon before the conference championship on February 22nd, where the winner will punch their ticket to Nationals in St. Louis.
All 4 teams in playoffs are going to be really good. It's going to be really tough matches, but I'm excited. It's a bit nerve-wracking because it's kind of like do or die a little, but I have a good feeling, and I think we've been pretty locked in today, and we got the rest of the week to prepare, but I'm pretty pumped.
We just got to go. We play our best hockey when we're having fun, and you can tell we're all dancing on the ice and stuff. The music is playing. We have our dance team in the stands.
Yeah.
When the vibes are good and the energy is good, we play really well. So as long as we can keep that going and not get down on ourselves, I think we'll be in a really good place.
For Sko Buff Sports, I'm Paxton Haynes.
The battle for tickets to Nationals in St. Louis begins this weekend as the men's Division II team plays in the ACHA West Regionals Tournament. CU comes into the tournament ranked 7th in the West after a BMHC championship win on February 8th. Eyeing a second round 2 match, the Buffs face off against Northern Arizona University tonight at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. In the regular season, NAU defeated Colorado 5-4 in its only game that ended in overtime. The Buffs will look to a Conference Player of the Year forward Brick Fisher and second-team All-Conference goaltender Caleb Allen to guide them to nationals.
For its final series of the season, men's D1 hockey takes on the Colorado State Rams in the Rocky Mountain Face-Off this weekend. The Buffs currently hold an edge over the Rams in the season series, leading 2-1. This weekend's series will be split, with tonight's in Fort Collins at 7:15 and tomorrow's here at the Rec Center ice rink at noon. It'll be the last men's home game of the year, so make sure to show out, Buffs fans. If you can't make it, Saturday's game will be streamed live right here on ScoBuff Sports.
We are now just several days away from spring practice starting up for the football team with a brand new offensive system heading into fall. We had Leo Rivera and Oliver Hayes break down their expectations for a new look Buffaloes as we get closer to the spring game.
Welcome to this week's edition of Buff Banner. I'm your host, Oliver Hayes, alongside my co-host, Leopoldo Rivera IV. In Colorado football, they are playing their spring game in a few short weeks from now. Leo, the big man coming in, Brendan Marion, the new offensive coordinator, known as the go-go guy. You have been super fascinated with this offense. Can you break it down for us so that me, but Colorado fans included, can understand what we can expect to see when Colorado takes the field during that spring game?
Yeah, that's a big question, Oliver, and obviously practices are going to start ramping up here shortly. That's going to be the big thing. But what to expect from the go-go offense, first and foremost, it's going to be that two back to the offside of the quarterback, or a sidecar position, as Brendan Marion calls it. There's going to be two running backs in the backfield. They're going to be both on the same side. That is something that this Colorado offense has not seen before, and it's also something a lot of offenses don't practice because, like you mentioned, Brendan Marion is the creator of this. So what does that mean? It means there's going to be a lot of run-heavy plays. Brendan Marion's coming with the duo. He's coming with the ISO, working a lot of double teams on that first front line of defenders, and that's really what Colorado is going to work on, is building that run game first, and from that point on, then you're going to open up the path to the RPOs and all the different passing games downfield.
That's a lot of stuff. But to focus on something specific, because that was a lot of things that you talked about, maybe a lot even for a football fan to try and grasp with how different this offense is, like you talked about with the halfbacks on one side of the quarterback. But focusing on the run-pass option, the RPO, we saw a little bit of this the last season with Colorado and Kane Salter, Juju Lewis, whenever Ryan Staub got him. We saw a little bit of that. But with this offense, the go-go offense, it seems like the RPO is a lot more prevalent. How does the go-go offense utilize the RPO and make it different, not only from Colorado's offense last year, but from other offenses in general?
Definitely. Colorado's going to be built on this triple option system, Oliver, where the run's always going to be on no matter what to be able to give that. But Julian Lewis is going to have the option to pull, which becomes that second option. And then from there, the third is the pass. And what makes this offense different from the ones that have been at Colorado the last few years is that it's tackling vertical downfield. Previously, Colorado relied on using bubbles and, very short passing games in the RPO to rely on blocking and creating explosive plays. This offense is going to create the explosive plays by design and push the ball downfield with the receivers running, more vertical routes that are going to come off the running game.
So with all those options, Colorado, they have some returners. Juju Lewis, he's the man that stands out on offense, of course. But who else do you think can stand out in this go-go offense where Marion has talked a decent amount about how any player can thrive in this type of offense?
Yeah, there's a lot of running backs. First, you got Michael Welch, returner for the Colorado Buffaloes, to Kalen Taylor. With his passing abilities, that's going to be a big one. I think seeing him in this offense in the spring is going to be vital. He's one of the big guys I'm looking at. Obviously, you have the guys coming over from Sacramento State as well, Damian Henderson IV being one of those. But on the receiving end, you have Danny Scudero, who led all of college football in receiving. He's a small guy in the slot, but Brendan Marion knows how to use those small guys. If you look back at his tenure, he's used players of all different sizes in the offense. He's going to find a place for all the different body types on the Colorado's offense and make sure they're vital come spring game and moving forward.
And that name you brought up, Kalen Taylor, after missing him the last part of the season with the injury, I'm excited to see Trackhawk back on the field and using that speed in this new offense. But I think that's all for this week's edition of Buff Banner. My name is Oliver Hayes alongside Leopoldo Rivera IV. Thank you guys for watching.
Welcome to Folsom Feud. I'm your host, Colby, here with 3 contestants today, Lincoln, Balin, and Kieran. Lincoln, start us off.
I'll take game day etiquette for 200.
All right. This is the best way to show respect during the CU fight song.
What is standing, singing loud, and raising your hand in the hook 'em horn sign?
Not what we're looking for. Balin, you have an answer?
What is stand up, sing loud, and do the Ralphie horns?
Correct. Balin, the board is yours.
Give me tailgate traditions for 400.
All right, here's the answer. The must-have item to wear on game day to show your buff pride. Kieran?
What is black and gold?
That's correct. Nothing says school spirit like those two colors. Choose the next one.
Let's do fan etiquette for 600.
Fan etiquette. The proper response when you hear someone yell, "Go Buffs."
What is Skull Buffs?
Skull Buffs is right. Looks like we've got some true Buffs fans here. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our contestants, and see you next time.
The club baseball team went 3-1 in their season opening tournament last weekend in Dallas. The Buffs captured wins against North Texas, Baylor, and the Texas Longhorns with 3 positive pitching performances. And their one loss to Oklahoma, the Buffs still scored 13 runs but allowed 17 in an outlier game. Sophomore catcher Charlie Lesh tallied 3 hits to take home the Mid-America West Player of the Week award, and senior president Nathan Hoffman won Pitcher of the Week after throwing 6 scoreless innings. Following the successful weekend, Colorado got attention in the NCBA Top 20 poll, being the second team with the second most votes without a ranking. CU gets a few weeks off before beginning its season's full swing against Utah on March 7th.
Good evening from snowy Boulder, Colorado. I'm Trip Malden, here to bring you your Olympic recap. Starting us off for the week, we have Ryder Sarchet, who competed in the giant slalom event, finishing 25th overall. The former Buffalo Joanne Reed finished 72nd overall in the women's 7.5K sprint biathlon. Alvar Olev finished strong in the men's 10K final, finishing 28th overall. Hugo Hickenfuss also competed and finished 66th. Sve Irving advanced to the halfpipe final, finishing 8th overall and was one of only 2 Americans to qualify. Cassidy Gray started the women's giant slalom, but sadly crashed in the first run and did not finish. The women's hockey team made a stunning comeback against Canada after a goal early in the second period left the U.S. trailing all game. A late goal in the third by team captain Hillary Knight sent the game into overtime, with a goal by Megan Heller winning the game for the United States. That's all we have for this week. Good luck to all of the Buffs who still have competitions.
The Buffs competed in the Spencer James Nelson Memorial Invitation on Saturday. The Buffs showed out at Howelson Hill with a victory of Joe Haynes Flatane. He was joined on the podium by a Storm Peterson, who finished 3rd. For the women, there was a second-place finish for Astrid Lundy, who was joined by Tildy Bangman, who was finished 3rd. This left the Buffs winning 3 out of the 8 races this weekend.
After going 2-1 last weekend, which included giving Minnesota its first loss of the season, the tennis team has another busy slate ahead of them, this time in Las Vegas. Today, the team is wrestling with UNLV. Tomorrow, Colorado takes on Gonzaga and Utah Tech. The ITA has the tennis team ranked 56th in the nation, and a 3-win weekend would come with a lot of momentum.
The track and field indoor season is winding down. The Colorado Last Chance Invitational is underway. At the meet, 18 seniors are being honored. The prime time event today is the men's event distance melody relay, where CU, BYU, NAU, and New Mexico are looking to solidify their spot for the NCAA championship race. This is the last meet before the Big 12 Indoor Championship next weekend.
The men's golf team finished 16th out of 24 universities competing at the PGA West. The third round was canceled due to high winds, leaving Stanford the winner after 2. The Buffs shot 19 strokes over par in the first round, putting them near the bottom of the leaderboard. The Black and Gold were able to turn things around, shooting just 3 shots over par on day 2. The wind was a factor all weekend, with only 3 schools finishing under par. Meanwhile, the women's team will head to Sacramento, California to compete in the Causeway Invitational. The first 2 rounds will be played on Monday, with the final being held on Tuesday.
The Buffs announced their spring's volleyball schedule on Wednesday. CU's first spring match will be at Northern Colorado in Greeley on March 28th, then followed up by matches against Wyoming at 12:30, The Buffs will then host CSU at the Events Center April 4th at 11:30 a.m. Then will travel to Fort Collins for a match 2 weekends later on April 28th, and following that match will play against the Denver Pioneers.
Former Colorado men's basketball star KJ Simpson is heading back to the Mile High, signing a two-way deal with the Denver Nuggets on Wednesday. Simpson spent 3 seasons in Boulder, was first-team All-Pac-12 in 2024, and was taken 42nd overall by the Charlotte Hornets in that year's NBA draft. Denver opened a two-way spot after converting forward Spencer Jones' contract to a standard deal yesterday. After being waived earlier this month, Simpson now gets a fresh opportunity to continue his NBA career close to where he started in college. Another former Buff and forward Jabari Walker re-signed with the Philadelphia 76ers on a two-year deal. Walker has appeared in 46 games this season, making 6 starts.
Colorado forward Hope Leba has been selected for the training camp with the under-23 U.S. women's national team. Leba has scored 32 career goals at Boulder, tying Kate Griffin for 4th in team history. She will go into her senior season with a chance to top CU career record for goals, Shira James at 47. This past season, the Buffaloes ended their season 17-4-3, 8-1-2 in Big 12 play. This is a major step forward for Leba and a proud moment for the Buffs program.
Hey Buff fans, I'm Kieran Walker bringing you this week's top 5 plays in Colorado sports. Tons of variety this week for once. So we're diving right in with our number 5 pick this week. Let's go to women's hoops to start off. Maeve Mackerlane going up, driving, and she'll make it to the basket as she goes down. What a play to put the Buffs back on top in the third quarter against Arizona. Holy cow. Let's stay at women's hoops for number 4. This time it's Anael Dutant from Jade Masagayo, and she makes the backdoor cut. Ladies and gentlemen, what a play indeed, going right to the basket. Beautiful cut by Dutant, and what a game that was for her down in Tucson. Now for number 3, let's go over to lacrosse, our first lax play of the week this year. And it's taken by Tegan Ryan. She rips it past for a hat trick on the day. Colorado starting off their season red hot. Number 2, let's stay with more women's sports. Let's go over to women's hockey. Look out, here comes Anna Masiello. One-on-one on the breakaway, and she scores right between the legs against DU in the final home game of the regular season. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 now, let's go over to men's hoops. It's Isaiah Johnson. He's going to hang on to it himself. Going out to his left. Finally driving up court. Alley-oop and the deck attack! Isaiah Johnson, 27 points on the night against BYU, though it was a loss. That's going to do it for this week's Plays of the Week here on Scoba Sports. I'm Kieran Walker, wishing you a wonderful weekend.
Here we see Xavier McNevitz working on his reader for the live show. If we didn't have these readers done by Thursday night, chances are we would not be airing this show right now. Be like Xavier. Get your readers done. And don't forget to click save so that you don't lose any of your hard-earned work.
Hey Buffs fans, I'm Jake Zhao bringing you this week's Rapid Fire. Tomorrow, Colorado women's lacrosse will look to keep their red-hot start to the season going as they host the Towson Tigers. First draw is set for noon at the Kittredge Fields, or you can watch live on ESPN+. Then afterwards, take the short trek to the CU Events Center right after as your Buffs men's basketball team hosts the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Tip-off is set for 1:30 p.m. and will be streamed live on TNT. Then celebrate your women's basketball seniors as they host top 20 rated Texas Tech. The women's are slated to play in March, so catch some hoops action from the CU Event Center at 7 p.m. That game will be streamed live on ESPN+. And coming out the busy weekend, catch the WWCHL Championship from the CU Rec Center against either Colorado, Montana State, GCU, or Utah. That game will be right here on Sco Buff Sports on Sunday. It's a busy weekend, so be sure to support your Buffs. Back to you at the desk.
Whatever, Jake. Mid-rapid fire. Now it's time for this week's trivia answer. As a reminder, we asked you how many points away is Isaiah Johnson from Colorado's freshman scoring record. Drumroll, s'il vous plaît. The answer is 83. Johnson is closing in on Alec Burks' freshman record of 512. The mark has stood since 2010. Burks also set CU's single-season scoring record as a sophomore with 779. And after this year, we'd bet on Johnson to push that too. Oh, now it's time for the tweet of the week. And we head to Tad Boyle, who had a surprise visitor. It was Derek White, who came to the weekly radio basketball show with Mark Johnson. And that's all we have for you guys this week. I'm Harrison Simeon.
And I'm Brittany Garcia.
And you heard it here first.